Yes. Beautiful. So, Chris, welcome to the podcast. Super happy to have you on and hopefully go into some interesting topics. Who knows? We'll let the wind guide us. And yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ethan. Excited to be here.
Very nice, very nice. So yeah, can you start off? Just keep it easy. Just describe a little bit about sort of your journey at Everykey. I know you sort of started out in the college days, and then there's some other young guys listening to this wanting to start the business out of the dorm. Just yeah, can you just walk us through what that kind of looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. So, ever since I was really young, maybe elementary school, middle school, I've always been fascinated with the intersection of technology and business, right? I've always known that I wanted to start a company, kind of like Everykey. Ever since I was really young, I've been doing all these little entrepreneurial side projects, right? Like tournament websites and advertising networks for video games. That's kind of what got me into it. To begin with, was playing a lot of Halo back in the day, and I would create like tournament websites and stuff based off of that. So fast forward to college, we were in an entrepreneurship class while I was pursuing my computer science degree, and the professor asked us to come up with any kind of business idea we wanted. It could be a product or a service that can make money, but more importantly, make an impactful change on the world, make or save people money. So we came up with this crazy idea for a wristband that would replace all your passwords and your keys. And we thought, wouldn't it be cool if Apple or Google were to do a product like this, right? And we presented it to the class, and the professor loved it so much that he came up to us afterwards, shook our hands, and said, "Guys, I want you to build this company. I want to invest in you and make this dream a reality." And we were like, "Holy cow, we are biting off more than we can chew here, but let's make it happen." Our professor has this confidence in us. He's an expert. Maybe we actually can make this happen. And since that class, the technology has taken a little bit of a different turn, right? We offered a kind of key fob type form factor like this. Now it's an app on your phone. But what we do at Everykey is we're on a mission to replace all your passwords and keys. So rather than having a big bulky key ring like what you just saw and having hundreds of different passwords written on sheets of paper to remember all of them, we offer an app that you install on your phone, and you're able to use that as your phone as a virtual smart key for everything. So your phone now unlocks your laptop, pretty soon here the door to your office, your car door, any type of access controlled device, your tablet, anything that you would use a username and password or a key to unlock, we unlock that for you. And we also get you into all your website and app accounts as well, like social media, email accounts, bank accounts, anything that requires your username and password. We log in when you're around, and then everything also locks back down when you walk away. So yeah, the basic concept hasn't changed too much from that original class, but the form factor by which we kind of deliver the technology has changed quite a bit, and the market that we're going after has changed a lot too. And I'm sure we'll get into that here on this
Yeah, yeah.
podcast.
How do you think the market has changed as far as who you're going after?
Yeah, so when we first launched this, we thought this would just be a smart key to offer to every Joe, Dick, and Harry out there that has passwords, which is everybody, right? Everybody has this problem of having to manage their keys and passwords. So we thought that this would be a consumer-facing product, and that's what we got out there to do, was sell a consumer-facing product. We launched on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, the crowdfunding websites, and we broke the records on both of those platforms. So we were like, wow, we have all this potential to build a great company in the consumer space. But as we started to ship product to these customers, what we found was that most of them weren't using it in a consumer setting. They were actually using it in their business to help run their business more effectively and more securely. And we started to really, most startups don't like to use the P word, but we pivoted
Yeah.
into the B2B direction, and now we're a full-fledged B2B facing company, and we're trying to target larger companies pretty soon here as well. We're actually raising a round of funding right now that will help us build out some features in the product that will allow us to target, 10,000 plus employee companies.
Okay. Very nice. And when it comes to like the targeting the 10,000 plus employee companies and also just generally like the space that you're in as far as like cybersecurity, like what processes have you found to like effectively build trust in like it seems to be what really important in this space? Like how do you guys actually properly do that? And even maybe as well other companies get sort of this small company judgment of, oh, you're tiny, like how do you deal
Yeah.
with that?
Yeah. There's a few things that you can do to deal with that. So one is to build a great product that's very secure and to just put a lot of thought into security and the product development process, right? So in our case, the way that our product works is that there's encryption keys that secure all of your passwords, right? And those encryption keys that are used to unlock those passwords, that are used to actually get the plain text of those passwords, those encryption keys are only stored on your devices. And we can go through, we've been through audits to prove that,
Okay.
the security is really great. So there's some steps like that. You can go through security audits, and we've passed every security audit that we've had with the best possible score you can get. And big companies are only getting the best possible score about 20% of the time. So just building a great product that is very secure, very well thought out, talking to a lot of people, getting feedback from the community is a big thing as well. We did an AMA, Ask Me Anything, on Reddit for the security-minded folks to ask us about our security, to critique it, to show us where our holes might be, and to make it better. And during that AMA, we learned a lot, and we were able to make some modifications that allowed us to make the product even better. So it's just kind of engaging the community, thinking through the product development process very methodically, and then going through the security audits to kind of prove it out. But a lot of startups is also kind of fake it till you make it, right? You've got to
Yeah.
most with what you have, and put that out there and use that as a building block to get to uh, the next stage, and use that to get to the next stage, and use that to get to the next stage. And it's just sort of constantly doing the most with what you have to progress.
Mhm. Okay, and like it sounds like so far you guys have been fairly successful on like the fundraising side of things. Like, what has been, because I know a lot of people struggle with that, and even with the economy being sort of uncertain at this stage. Honestly, I haven't even checked the news recently. I don't know which way we're going. Like how did you guys were successful on Kickstarter, broke some records, and then you're going for another round of funding here. Like, what do you think of some things people often get wrong when doing it, or maybe mistakes you guys have made in the past?
I think the biggest mistake, and we've made this mistake a few times ourselves probably, is giving up too early, right? Um, I know that within startup culture, you definitely want to uh, kill something that's not working as quickly as possible. But at the same time, if there are signs of good things to come,
Mhm.
you don't want to give up on something just because you've hit a roadblock, right? Oftentimes, some of the hardest engineering challenges can be solved, by putting your heads together and figuring out a solution to it. I can count the number of times. There's been a number of times at Everykey where we've been, quite frankly, close to going out of business. Right? We've gotten to the point where it's like, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make payroll next week, and that's happened to us a few times, and it's always been very sad and hard for everybody that's involved. But if we would have given up, if we didn't try to find a way to make it work, then we would have never gotten to where we are, and we would never have the bright future ahead of ourselves that we have. So continuing to be persistent and never giving up, I think, is a very important attribute for any entrepreneur to learn.
Okay, very nice, very nice. And you said something interesting, like as far as like where you guys are going, and you guys it sounds like you have a promising future. Like, where are you guys trying to do? Like, what are you guys trying to achieve when we're going into 2025 compared to like where you guys are in 2024?
Yeah, so 2024 was really focused on product development for the business customer, right? We've developed a great product that our business customers love, rather than having to log in with username and passwords. Their employees can now use things like pass keys to log in, and they can use Everykey as a truly easy to use multi-factor authentication solution. So
Mhm.
typically, multi-factor authentication. You log in with a stupid username and password. Now you get a code sent to your phone where you have to use an authenticator app. It's a big pain in the butt, right? But with
Yep.
our technology, have your phone on you, and you can present a biometric like a fingerprint or a face scanning, you're in. So we developed out this just amazing product, something better than anybody else, any other product out there.
Mhm.
It's so much easier to use, more secure as well. Don't have the risk of somebody hijacking text messages being sent to your phone, things like that. Don't have the risk of your password being leaked in a password data breach. So we've developed
Yeah.
something that's just truly incredible and groundbreaking here. And now it's time to get it to market. Now it's time to get it into the hands of more enterprise customers and business customers and scale to larger companies as well. We have a few of those kind of in the pipeline. Can't talk about them quite yet, but there's some
Sure.
big brand names that you know and have heard of that we'll be
Yeah.
working with and announcing some partnerships with
Oh,
in the very near future here, like weeks or months, not years. And very excited about those opportunities to come in 2025 and bringing more of those on board as well.
very exciting. Very exciting. And yeah, as far as the MFA, I love like locking my phone away. Like if you ask me where's my phone right now, I honestly don't know. I just turn it off and I put it in some random corner of the house, whatever, every time because it's a
Wow.
distraction. It's
You're rare breed. I don't think most people would say that. Most people
yeah,
are on their if they go to the bathroom and forget their phone, they have a mini panic attack. I know
yeah,
that's how kind of
yeah. And so like literally, I left my phone in my apartment. I went down to a coffee shop this morning, did 7 hours of work, whatever, and like. I was like, it was so nice. And I was like, I need to do a stupid MFA code. And I had to go all the way back up to my apartment to get my MFA code. And I was like, oh, the stupid distraction that I was staying away from is back in my hand. So I
right.
think I think that's very, very important. And I don't know. That's just me. Not probably not common for my generation as well.
No,
And
that's a cool strategy. I'm gonna have to give that a try. Maybe tomorrow I'll try like a
oh,
good 4 hours.
even better one is give it if you have any friends there, just give your phone to your friend and be like, put this somewhere where I don't know where it
Love
is.
it. Love it. Love it.
Very
Love
useful.
it.
Or
Nice.
having two phones, which can be annoying, but is actually pretty good. Um,
Yeah.
so you mentioned, some of these bigger enterprise clients. I think, how do you actually go about building those relationships and getting to the point where they're about to sign? Because I'm sure there's tons of cybersecurity folks who want to work with. I've spoken with 160 of them. A lot of them do want to work with those bigger guys because, well, you think about it, $100 a seat times 10,000 is a lot nicer than times 2,000. Like, how
Mhm.
did you go about getting those relationships? Was it networking? Did you email them? Did you call them? Like, how did that work? Or yeah, what
Yeah.
methods do you guys employ, I guess?
So, I mean, first, it all starts with having a great product, right? No enterprise is going to buy your product if it sucks, if it's not unique, if it's not solving some kind of very specific problem that they
Mhm.
have, right? So you want to build something that people truly want. That's obvious, I guess.
Yes.
As far as how to get out to them, utilizing your network is definitely a big one. With a deal that we have coming up here, it involves kind of a relationship with somebody that we've had from a previous company. This person used to work for another big company and had kind of an executive level position there, and now he's moved to another big company, and it's kind of about kind of tracking your network, seeing where people are making their moves, and making sure to kind of reach out to them at the right time, and utilizing those relationships as well as you can.
Mhm.
We have a lot of investors as well, right? I think that's probably one of my strongest skill sets is fundraising.
Yep.
We have, I think, 42 now, people who have invested, people or funds that have invested in
Mhm.
Everykey. Utilizing those people has been really, really key to us, right?
Mhm.
So putting those feelers out there, looking through the networks of the people that have invested in you. If you don't have a network of 42 investors, you have friends, you have family members, you have employees, hopefully, co-founders, business partners, anybody within your network is fair game, right? Just
Mhm.
look through their mutual connections on LinkedIn and find out who they're connected to. Ask them this question specifically, like, "Hey, I built this awesome security product. Do you have anybody in your network who might be interested in this?" And ask them, if you can give them specific names, that's always more useful than just kind of putting the general feelers out there.
Yes.
So yeah, that's kind of what we've done, and it's just a lot of pounding the pavement, hearing no 100 times before you hear that one yes.
Yes.
You're going to get a lot of rejection. You're going to have to build a very thick skin.
Mhm.
I think that's good quality for any salesperson or any CEO. because yeah, it's gonna be tough, but you're going to be very satisfied with the rewards once you've put in that effort and you finally hear that yes.
For sure. And I think like one paradigm I learned is like I try to get no's, and then when I get a yes, it's like a happy accident. Like,
Mhm.
you're like you're scared to go like network with this person. It's like let me go try and get a no. Like they don't want to work with me, and then if I get a yes, happy accident, happy surprise, we keep on going.
Great way to look at it, Ethan. Love that.
And okay, very nice. And like, I guess when it comes to growing the business, or like, I guess what are some of your like biggest frustrations at the moment, like, and that you're sort of working to overcome, like within the business? Because I have a theory that it might be similar to a lot of other cybersecurity CEOs. So I'm curious, like, what do you feel like are some of the biggest frustrations at this stage?
Hmm. Biggest frustrations. I don't know. I guess in the sales process, just kind of re creating a repeatable sales process that is scalable
Mhm.
is something that we're looking to refine right now. A lot of our current success has been we have a great sales process, right? I'm not trying to say that we don't. We have a really great kind of outbound and inbound um, sales process driven by both sales and marketing, which
Mhm.
is awesome. But we need to kind of scale it. We need to get it to that next level, and we need to rely more on that sales process than
Mhm.
on those kind of like leads through previous like the big company that I was referring to. So that's one challenge.
Okay.
Um, Funding is always a challenge with a company, right? I mean, you're always you've got a burn rate, you've got a runway, and you're always trying to make the most with what you have, minimize that burn rate, maximize that runway, and that's definitely something that we've been focused a lot on
Mhm.
recently here at Everykey. Fortunately, some good things are coming as far as sales and fundraising. We've had a few new investors that are interested in putting some new money into the company. So,
Okay.
some of those problems will get solved in the very near future here.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. I'm living the dream right now, man. Like you asked the question about problems, and I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty happy camper. I mean, obviously, in a startup, you got a million things on fire. This feels kind of like the meme of the guy that's sitting in the middle of the room that's
Yeah.
on fire as everything's fine.
Yeah.
I guess I'm a pretty good embodiment of that meme.
Mhm.
Because you're just dealing with these constant stresses and these constant fires. But right now, our fires are fairly minimal and they're very close to being put out
Mhm.
compared to how they've been in the past. So you can see the big smile on my face because of that.
Yeah, you'll be able to get the big turkey for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's good. That's good. No, I think I almost think something's wrong when like nothing when everything's too calm. I like get concerned. I'm like, what's going on in the business right now? Why is everything chugging along?
The calm
Or
before the storm.
exactly, yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it just means something's coming, and
Yeah.
I
It,
think something might be coming beginning of the year. We'll see.
well, I think this is a storm. This is the calm after the storm. I think we've been
Uh,
through very stormy waters. Oh my God,
uh-huh.
the past 3 months have been hell for us. But we're now finally to the point where things are starting to pan out and things are going a lot
Mhm.
more smoothly than they were previously. So maybe it's kind of a comparison type of deal that's going on right now. I'm looking at how things were over the last 3 months. I'm feeling really good about the present day and the future
Mhm.
and that's why I'm so positive right now. But you're right. I
Nice.
mean, as soon as things start to get good, sometimes you're on this constant roller coaster. You've got the highest highs and lowest lows in any startup company,
Mhm.
and yeah. Right now we're on one of those highs, and hopefully we continue to climb to higher heights.
And what do you think you did in order to cause the high? Like what processes did you put in place or anything? Or maybe it was just like economy, maybe some luck. Like, well, obviously there's some luck included in it, but what do you think you guys did as a company to make that high come? Because not everyone's in that high, obviously.
Right. Um, Being very methodical, I've found has been in a startup, you got to move fast, right?
Yeah.
There's this constant balance between moving fast and breaking things and then
Hmm.
being very methodical and making the right decisions, right? Because
Yes.
sometimes when you move too fast, you end up making bad decisions
Yeah.
that can hurt the company. And when
Hmm.
you move too slowly, then you're a startup. You got to move fast because if you don't move fast, then what advantage do you have over the big giant gorillas out there in the
Yep.
marketplace, right? So you have to find that balance. And I think that what's really interesting is that recently we've found that balance to some degree. And I'm sure that if you check back in with me 6 months or a year from now, I'm going to say, oh, well, we didn't have that balance. Now we have that balance a lot better
Yeah.
because you're constantly refining that. But I
Okay.
think that right now we've found that that good method of moving forward quickly while also still making methodical, well thought out decisions.
Hmm.
Um, and some of that comes with bringing the right people into your company
Yep.
and involving the right decision makers, right? I'm more on kind of that slow, methodical decision making
Okay.
side of things. And my business partner, Ahmad, who's our CTO, is definitely the move fast and breaks things type
Yep.
of mindset. And so I think we complement each other very well. And
Mhm.
it kind of forces us both to see the other person's perspective. And it's a really great yin and yang that we've got going on.
For sure. No, I think I am the move fast and break things kind of guy in my company, and then I have Kate, my director of client success type of thing, to sort of, okay, Ethan, wait, hold on, we gotta, and sometimes she goes to the overthinking side of things, but it's like, well, there's a balance where I just like by the time she's thought of something, I've done probably 10 iterations, and then
Right.
it just sort of balances out. And then that's something I think I've noticed in these conversations. Like I've spoken with people in the 10 employee range, and then even spoken to companies like doing $86 million a year. I'm not sure if I can reference a specific company, but like big players in the security space where they're doing like 86 million a year. And it's like, well, the directions are different, and the increases in operational efficiency might be 5%, but when you're doing that much, it's like, okay, that's a nice change. um,
Yep.
Okay, very interesting, very interesting. And like what concerns do you have like as far as I guess like what trends are you noticing in the industry that is maybe making it easier or like more difficult for Everykey to stand out?
Hmm. Well, it's a competitive industry. I think that that makes it tough for everybody in the
Hmm.
cybersecurity industry, right? It's because the industry is hot, because there's high growth and there's constant data breaches going on. It's like every month another giant company has been breached, and all of your passwords are now public information, and all
Hmm.
your social security number and your credit card number. Might as
Yep.
well just you know print it on a t-shirt, right? At this point.
Hmm.
But so the competitiveness I think is tough for everybody. What I think benefits us is that companies are starting to uh, look for very seamless ways to authenticate, right? They're looking for this zero trust security environment where you don't have to get in people's way. So they're
Hmm.
looking for frictionless, easy to use, passive experiences. And I think that's one really great advantage of our technology is
Hmm.
that by just having your phone in your pocket, you can now authenticate to everything. It couldn't be easier. There's
Yep.
nothing easier than proximity authentication, right? We all love having a car key in our pocket. This has existed for, 10 plus years. You have your
Yep.
car key in your pocket, you walk up, you touch the door handle, you open the door. You didn't have to do anything. There's no password on the door. There's no
Yes.
key that you got to fumble with if you've got your hands full with groceries. So we provide that same type of user experience not for your car, but for everything else. And I think that's what people really, or in the future for your car as well, of course. So not just
Yeah.
for your car, but for everything else. And I
Mhm.
think that's what people really love about our technology is it's very easy to use and doesn't get in the way. And that gives employees an incentive to turn on multi-factor authentication. Because if you
Yeah.
ask just about any normal employee out there, they're going to say, I freaking hate multi-factor authentication. I don't want to have
Mhm.
that shit on and they're going to try to turn it off, or they're going to try to find ways to get around it, or they're just going to piss and moan every time they have to use it.
Yeah.
But with our technology, it's just so easy to use, and that's part of the big value here, but still just as secure as everything else out there.
Absolutely. No, I think I was literally just reading a breach with because it was no MFA. That was the issue. And then all
Yep.
this. all this stuff got.
Exactly.
Do you remember what company it was? I don't know. There's just so many.
Well, Ticketmaster, I mean,
Okay,
fairly recently,
there you go.
Ticketmaster,
I think that's what I
hundreds of
think that was
millions.
what it is.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
No multi-factor authentication, and what was the and poor passwords, I guess, for the people that had access to that, to all that data. Yeah.
fair enough. Awesome. Well, Chris, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for the conversation. Hopefully, some of this will be useful for either other cybersecurity CEOs or maybe other enterprise people looking for anything there. Where could people find you if they did want to get in contact with you?
Yeah, I mean, you can email me directly. I can just throw my email out there, I guess.
Mhm.
Chris.Wentz, just first name dot last name, at everykey.com, everykey.com. So yeah, Ethan, thanks so much for having me on. To all the entrepreneurs that are watching out there, if you're going through a tough time, it gets better. Just keep on keeping on. I've been